Hey guys, back with another video, and today we're going to be doing a what I read this year video. So I'm just gonna sit down and I'm just gonna get all the books. I have a stack with me. I just started reading, so I don't have too many books, and some of them were audio, so I didn't read all of them. I listened to some, read. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do today, and I hope you guys like it. Okay, so I don't have all the books with me. The audio ones, I just wrote a list. So the first one I was Inheritance Games, and I really liked that book. It was one of the first ones that got me into reading. My friend was like, you should read this, it's really good. So I was like, okay, let me try and read it, and I loved it. It was really good. It's a great one to start with, I think, if you're getting into reading, just in general. I liked the characters. I liked the concept. It was really cool. If you've never read it, I won't spoil in this video, so there won't be any real big spoilers. Whatever's if I say anything, it'll be what's on the cover of the book or on the back. So the first page of the book. So anyways, it was really good. I really liked it. I think obviously I don't know if everyone's favorite character is this person, but I really liked one of the guys. I think his name is Jameson. I think everyone knows who he is. They say it in the cover of the back of the book. So I really liked him. I liked how the boys were really mean to the main character, Avery. I'm pretty sure that's her name. They're really mean to her at first, and I was like, I feel bad for her, but as the book goes on, it has twists and turns, and I didn't know what was going on. I was just reading it because I was not trying to figure out anything. I was just lead me, tell me what to think, because that one was a little harder to, not hard to comprehend, but I wasn't really trying to comprehend it. I was just going with the flow and listening to the book. Reading the book. It was really good though. So yeah, it was just really good. I liked it. I don't remember what I rated it. I think it's 3-star. It wasn't my favorite, but it was a really good starter book. I'd recommend it to people. Yeah. So the next book is, sorry, I gotta grab this one. This is coffee. This is my favorite cup. This is the Selection. My friend told me to read this, and I was like, I don't know about that. I actually don't know if I'm gonna like this. If the video is weird or whatever, my siblings are talking in the background, so there might be weird pauses, and I'm waiting for them to stop talking. This book is pretty much, the main character is kind of in a competition kind of thing for the prince's heart, and her name is America Singer. The name is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, the name is absolutely insane. I haven't read the rest of these books, but pretty much each I think there's certain groups of people, and they get a letter, or I can't exactly remember how they got to the palace, or how they get there, but pretty much there's just a bunch of girls, I think 35 girls, and they all get a chance to meet with Prince Maxon. I think that's his name. I'm not good with names. This video is gonna be me saying wrong names this entire time, so don't get mad. But they're all kind of in a competition to see who'll be the last one, and they get eliminated. So that's pretty much the gist of this book. I actually really enjoyed it. I like the prince. There's another love interest in here, and I was like, stop. I did not like him, and I don't like her either. She kind of annoys me a little bit, but just because she does some dumb things, and I'm please girl, please stop doing this. Please, you gotta stop. I can't take it anymore. And I believe she doesn't even want to be there fully. I can't remember, but her family's pretty poor. They rank people, groups of people. I think there's 4s, 5s, 6, and I think the highest ones are 3s, 2s, 1s, and then there's lower ones 8s and all that, and it's intense. So yeah, that's this book, and on to the next book. Okay, the next book I have on here is an audiobook that I listened to way earlier. It was Howl's Moving Castle. You can't tell me. I love Howl. I love him. He's the best, character. Oh my gosh, he's just amazing. And I forgot who wrote the book. I watched the movie, Studio Ghibli, I think, and amazing. I absolutely loved it. So I was like, there's a book, and my sister was like, yes, you need to listen to the book. They're really different, but the characters I feel like they're the same. And it's about this girl named Sophie, and she pretty much gets cursed, or she has a spell on her, whatever. And she goes to Howl Pendragon. She kind of goes into his moving castle, and she's trying to get her spell taken away, but she's just she turns into we won't say that actually. Anyways, we won't spoil. I almost spoiled it. She just followed her, and you pretty much follow her and Howl in the moving castle with a bunch of other characters. The characters are amazing in the movie and the book. They're both amazing. I love Howl. He's the best. He's the best character written that I've read. He's amazing. It's so funny, and he's dramatic. He's a little sassy too, which is hilarious. But I just love that character, and I would be here for hours if I kept talking about him because I just love him so much. So we're not going to talk about it anymore. Go read the book and watch the movie. It doesn't really matter what order you do it in, but they're both amazing. Absolutely amazing. The next book is If He Had Been With Me. Oh my goodness, when I tell you, I was sobbing. Everyone knows about this book pretty much. I didn't know I was gonna love this book. I didn't rate the other books, did I? We'll rate them later. I'll put it in. I think actually we'll do it right now. Howl's Moving Castle, I think I put it as 5-star because it's just I love that book. The Inheritance Games, I believe, was a 3-star. And then Selection, I think it was a 3 also. I'd recommend it, but I wouldn't, it wasn't a 5. It wasn't a 4 either. It was just perfectly in the middle, because all first books I feel are kind of it just depends. So that one has a series. I think it's a trilogy, and I really like that one, The Selection, but it's a 3.5 maybe. So let's get back to this one. Get With Me. It's amazing. The beginning of the book literally tells you pretty much, it gives you there was an accident, and then you kind of read the book and you don't really know what's gonna happen. You know the ending, but you don't get the part of the two characters' relationship, and just Autumn and Phineas, he goes by a lot of names, and Autumn and him, you don't get to see their relationship, how it grows, and how their families are so close, and it's so good. Oh my goodness. The ending wrecked me. I literally was just on the floor sobbing, obviously. But the second one is coming out. I'm literally gonna read that one too. I gave this a 5. It's so good. I absolutely love this book. Even though I was crying, sobbing, I was on the floor. I had to take a couple weeks to recuperate because I just had to take a break. I was did that really just happen? And I was I don't know. It was just so devastating. I was just sad, but it was so good. I recommend this book. I would give it more I'd give it a 5, but I would say if you're I wouldn't read it if you're really, really young, because it has it's angsty kind of book. It's teenagers, so I wouldn't read it if you're really, really young. I think it's a young adult, but I'm not 100%, and I'll probably fact check it somewhere, but I wouldn't read it if you're really young, just a little older in the young adult category. So, but it was amazing. I absolutely love this book. It was so good, and I just can't say enough. I literally loved it. I'm reading the second one when it comes out. So the next book I have is The Cruel Little Prince, and I really like this one. I think initially I didn't know what to think about it all the way. My friend read it and she didn't finish it, and she was like, I can't finish this. And I was like, please finish it and tell me if I should read it. And she did, and it's really good. I would say it's not one of my 100% favorites, but I love the characters in here. I love the guy, Carden, and Jude. Jude kind of annoys me a little bit. I don't like, she's like a good main character though, but it follows her, and this is like a fantasy book. I don't know if you call it fantasy romance. There's like a tiny bit of romance in it. It's like little pieces in the book, but it's fantasy, and it's like fae and all that, and it's actually very good. I 100% would recommend this. I am reading the second book now, I'm gonna try and read it, and literally I think I'm gonna love that book. The first one was amazing, I think. It wasn't 100% my favorite though, just because it's like the first book of a fantasy book. They're building all the world, they're giving you the world building, telling you about the characters. It's like, there's a lot, but oh my goodness, does this one have the map in it? I just wanted to show you guys the map. It's so pretty. It's beautiful. Some people don't like maps. I don't like maps a lot, but I do love to look at them because I just love art. And this one's like beautiful. Like, it's very pretty. Like, it's just so much random stuff, and it just looks so pretty. And so, I don't know, I just like to look at them a little bit, but the book is really good. I'd highly recommend this. I think I gave it like a 3.5 or something. Like, a 3 is good. I'd recommend it. It wasn't like a 4. It wasn't like amazing, or it wasn't a 5-star. There were some things I didn't like in this book, but overall, this book was like really good. I would recommend it to like anyone. It was amazing. Definitely go and read The Cruel Prince, and then read the rest of The Cruel Prince, because I haven't read it yet, but my friend did, and she absolutely loved it. The next book I have on here, it's a very popular book. I have A Court of Thorns and Roses. I didn't fully read this book. This is my sister's book. She's like a lot older than me and her were like reading them together, or she was reading it and then she was like, please read it, I need someone to talk to. So I was like, okay, let me read it. And we have a lot to say about this book. I do not like this book. I don't like the main character. The only person I like in there is, everyone should know who he is. It's one of the characters in here. Everyone loves him, so he's my favorite character. I do not like the first book. It's pretty boring to me. I was struggling to get through it. Like, I don't know why. I struggled so hard to get through this book. It took me a while because I felt like it was just dragging on. The first, oh my gosh, 10 chapters were like so hard for me to get through. I know it's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's pretty good. It just wasn't really my favorite book. It was probably one of my least favorite books that I read this year. But Sarah J. Maas does a really good job of like the last 100 pages of her book. All her books. The last like 100 pages are absolutely amazing, and I think the last 100 pages of this book were really good. I was like, whoa, what's going on? But everything just decided to go crazy. I loved that part. The rest of the book I did not like. I didn't really like her, and I didn't really like Tamlin, her what's her name, Feyre. Didn't really like Feyre that much. I found her kind of annoying. I know a lot of people either really love this book or they really hate it. I do not like the first book. I've read the second book. It's actually on this list, so I'll put it after this one. But for this one, I think I gave it like a 2, maybe a 1. I can't remember. I just did not like this book. The concept was like, don't get me wrong, the world is amazing. I just don't like her writing as much in this book, because I feel like, I don't know, it just wasn't as good. But the second book, her writing was like way better. I just didn't like how Feyre makes me laugh about her talking about art and painting, and I just can't. she's a little unsufferable, and I don't really like her as much. Other than that, like, I think I just didn't connect with Feyre, and it's hard to read a book that I don't connect with the like main character with. But the last 100 pages were amazing. So I think I'd give it like a 2, just because of the last 100 pages. But I wouldn't fully recommend this one. If you're gonna read it, you have to read it to read the other ones, because it's just like building on everything, and it's kind of confusing. That's one of the other reasons I didn't like it all the way. But it's not like horrible book. I just didn't like it as much. So that's this book. On to the next book, which is, I don't have it, but it's A Court of Mist and Fury. That book, I absolutely loved that book. There was like that one and this one I don't believe are young adult, or maybe the first one might be young adult, second one might not be. I think it gets spicier and spicier each book, but I think I stopped at the second one because I don't really like spice, so I had to like skip some parts in this book, and I had my sister read it beforehand because I didn't want to read it at that, so I was like skip. I love the second book, the relationship that Feyre has with this one other character that's introduced a little bit in the first book. I love him. I love that character. He's my favorite character. He's just like amazing. Feyre got a little better. I think I liked her a little bit more. I just like the concept of the second book better too, and I really feel like her writing got way better. I think because I really think that she liked this character, so I believe that she just went off on the writing. And of course the last 100 pages were absolutely amazing. It was just a great book. I don't want to spoil anything about it, so we're not going to talk too much about that one because it's the second book, and everyone loves that book. I think they either don't like the first book and they love the second book, I think, or they like both. And I don't like the first one, but I love the second one, so I give the second one a 4 stars, I believe, because it's really good. But I didn't like the spice, so it's not a 5 star. So I mean, I picked the book to read, but I just don't like the extra stuff, so I just get past it. But other than that, that book was really good. Okay, so for the next book I have Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and I loved this book. I just needed like a cozy book after I read the Acotar series, like the first 2 books. I just needed like a cozy book because I needed to get out of a fantasy world. I just needed to get into a cozy book. This book was really good. I absolutely loved it. The concept is so cool, and oh my gosh, it's like going back in time, but you go back in time with like in a coffee shop, and it's not like what you think it would be. This book is really good, and I feel like, I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of people reading it, but this book is amazing. Like, there's like, you might be scared. I was scared when I saw this. There's 4 chapters in this book, so it's like so these are the 4 chapters, and it was just such a good book. I don't know, it was so cozy. I loved it. I just wanted a nice cozy book that I could sit around near like the holidays, and I think I read it in like sometime in November, December. It was just amazing. I really needed like chill, comfortable book to get back in the mood of reading, and this book was just like, it was perfect. It was a perfect time to read this one. You follow different characters each time and it's set in a world where there's a coffee shop that you can go back in time with if you go there. I don't want to say too much about it, but you go to the past, and you can like meet someone. They have like a whole concept of how that works, and I think you guys should read this. It was really good. I think I gave this one a 4 star too. Not a 5 because it did slow down for me near the end, and I was just like, took me a longer time to get back into this book. But other than that, this book was amazing. Like, it was so enjoyable to read. I had such a good time. I think I listened to half of it, or no, I listened to the last part on Audible, and It was amazing. I love the characters, and they have really interesting characters, and the plot is really cool. I recently got the whole thing for Christmas, I believe. So I get to read the rest of this book, and I think they're all hardcovers. I really like hardcovers. This is what it looks like. I think the back is just like that, and it's pretty plain, but I love hardcovers. And this book was just, if you want a cozy book and you kind of need a break from fantasy or heavy romance or something like that, I definitely pick up this book and just read it for an in-between. It's not that long either, I don't think. It's like 200 pages. I think it's 272, 73 pages, 72 pages. So yeah, this one was like an easy read. It took me a little longer, but I really like this book. Definitely recommend it. The last book I have was a recent book I just finished, and I 100% loved it. It's Letters to the Lost. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna say too much about this book because I made a whole video on it that should have already came out, so you may have already seen this before this video. But I talk about how much I love this book. I rated it a 5-star. I think that was my first 5-star this year. I won 5-star this year. I absolutely loved this book. I loved it. It's like they're in high school, and there's about these two characters, Juliet and Declan, and it's just amazing. I love it. They both kind of deal with hardships in their life. Juliet's mom, I think, had just passed in an accident, and she's like writing letters to her and putting it on her grave. And then Declan is working, or not working, but I think he has community service for something that happened that you figure out if you read the book. And he mows lawns at the cemetery, so he's there and he sees the letter that Juliet wrote. He reads it and then he like replies back, and then that's how the story kind of goes. And I absolutely love this concept. I've never read a book that had like letters involved. It was so interesting. I loved it so much. That's all of the books I think that I have. Oh, one of my books fell. I'm drinking my coffee. So I wanted to add one more thing about this book that I really liked. The letter concept. I never really read a book that had letters in it, and I love the way that it just went. It was like you were with the characters. It was so cool. Dual point of view. It was absolutely amazing. I loved it. I started annotating in it. I don't know if you can see them. I didn't annotate the end, but you can see there are some pages that were annotated. It was amazing. I loved this one. Highly recommend. And just those are, I think, my books that I have. So I have all the books up here. These are the books that I read this year. All of them. I hope you guys liked this video, and you guys should go drink some tea or coffee today because it tastes really good. And I'll talk to you guys later.